Elmwood. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be going over sort of a series guide example. I mentioned it in my last writing vlog. Basically a series guide, or I've heard them referred to as like series Bible, series reference. It is a guide for the author if you're writing multiple books in the same world, to make sure that you don't have one character show up with green eyes in book one, or have inconsistencies in your magic system, or like a timeline thing that doesn't quite work. It worked in book one, but in book four it's like you got confused somewhere. So series guides prevent that sort of thing. I will put it up on the screen. I made a template for this video, and frankly, I wish I had the template before I started making my series guides, because it is better than the series guides I'm using. Okay, so here we have my series guide. This is just a template. I set it up in Scrivener, which is the writing program that I prefer to use. It's relatively affordable. It's I think $50 for a lifetime access. It is not a subscription, and I really enjoy the way that you can sort of set up the binder. So here you see I have set it up as if it was a draft. My color key is just basically, for me, I will put things in different colors within the series guide. One of the most common is that I will put like descriptions of characters from other characters' point of views, or little notes about a character that haven't quite made it into the book, but that I know. So I do like to have the color system. Now, for series overview, I have this in both of the series guides that I'm currently working on. A style sheet is mostly for when I get around to copy editing stages. So that will be things like, do I want characters to say although or though? Do I want gray to be spelled with an E or an A? That kind of thing. It's not about one being more right than the other. It's just about making sure that I keep a consistent system throughout the whole book. And I write fantasy too, so some of this will be in-world terms. For instance, in Showing Silver, the mages are called Arcan, and it's capitalized the same way every time, so that is something that would go in my style sheet. Timeline is mostly just so that I can keep my head straight if I have multiple books. I want to know book one takes place from this month to this month, even if it's never explicitly stated in the book. I know what's happening when. Titles is just title ideas, or if I have a title naming convention, just a quick place to put that. For instance, Project King will be the adjective king for every book, and I do know which king it refers to. So it's that kind of thing. Covers is just ideas I have for the covers. I don't have a whole lot of information in this, but I'm glad that I included it. One of my series is going to be a lot of books, and I like that I have kind of an idea in my head of the covers. And if cover trends change and those don't make it through, it still tells me something that I thought was important. So it helps me keep this series consistent, I guess. At least I'm hoping it will. And then blurbs. That's like marketing material. The back cover blurb. I don't think it's necessary to have in your series guide, but it's a good thing to have like a little reminder of the major points of each book. And then I have characters. So I write a lot of fantasy. I have them sorted by kingdom for larger works, or I might have them sorted just by category if it's a smaller scale. And to clarify category, in one of my series, in Showing Silver, my guide has royals and nobility, archon, merchant class, and servants. Whereas in Project King, I have royals and administrators, soldiers and nobility, servants, and merchant class. So it's kind of similar, but it's a little bit different. And it'll probably be different for every project. It's just the categories that make sense. Maybe your categories are just point of view characters and non-point of view characters. Or maybe you don't need categories at all. My series guide is not what you will need. This is just how my brain's working. And the one thing I did do that's a little bit unique, if a character has a pet or a horse or an animal, I have done it as like so say this is the character A. Their pet goes underneath them like that. Yeah. So then for locations, I have it segregated by kingdom. Once again, I do have maps at the top. So like even if there's a map that's specific to a kingdom, I kind of want all my maps in one place. Just because they might actually be published along with the work. And I will just click into one of these kingdoms so that you can see my categories. I have notes, history, and culture. Now, in my 2 series guides that exist, I actually only have culture for one of them and notes for the other. But I do think kind of splitting it into all 3 would be very helpful, and I may go back and do that. And the way that you set up your locations, it might not be capital, city, other location. That's just kind of examples for me for later. And then like within my capital, I'll have my castle, and then I'll have the interior and exterior of my castle. And I go down to like individual rooms in some cases, or for a city, I might have a certain inn I know is in that city, or like the stables that are there, whatever it is. But you can go as granular as you want to, or stay surface level if it's not an important location in your novel. For general and miscellaneous, I just have like idioms or fun sayings, things that are in the book that people don't say in real life. Terminology, that would be more like archon in place of mage, or what else do I have? Like what things that I made up for the book. It might be magic terms, it might be what a particular position in the kingdom is called. Just a quick reference guide for things that are unique to the book. And then I have like a section for art and books that are mentioned. So if my characters both enjoy the same book, that will go there. Just so that I know things that exist in my world and I can reference them later if I want to. Yeah. And then creatures, I didn't put any for the series guide template, but this would be things like how dragons are in my world, how griffins are, do elves and dwarves exist, humans might have their own page, but probably won't because we all know what humans are like. So that one, that's really more for fantasy authors. If you're not doing fantasy, it's probably not going to come up. And again, magic is kind of the same situation. I have general notes, uses, drawbacks, average abilities, and I sort of combined symbols, history, culture, because a lot of that will be covered under individual kingdoms, culture. But that's for things that are kind of true across the whole world. And that's pretty much my whole series guide. I do have a section for research, but I've left that completely blank. One thing that I did find very helpful that I put in one of them was like made up measurements I'm using. But I did that specific to locations. So I put that under like Kingdom 1 notes. Yeah, there's not much else to add because, again, I'm not an expert on series guides. I made 2 that are working well for me. They're not even the same as each other. It's just kind of, what do you need help remembering about your world? Where are the places where you think that you might leave plot holes, leave little inconsistencies and errors, the kinds of things that will drop people out of your world when they're reading. The whole point of a series guide is just kind of to avoid that. And so this is my template, and I am pretty happy with it. I might add to it later. Who knows? But I hope it helped you. If you have Scrivener, feel free to copy what I did here. If you have some other way to do it, again, feel free to copy. There's no like idea monopoly on series guides. Have at it. Have fun. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful. Again, do remember that my series guide is just what I need. Everybody's mind works differently. You'll have different things that you tend to forget. You'll have different things you tend to remember. So make the series guide that you need, not the one that I need. And if you liked what you saw, like and subscribe. I hope to see you on my next video, which will be next Thursday.